Have you ever noticed something strange? Sometimes the kindest person in the relationship is the one who eventually gets replaced. The person who supported the most, who stayed patient the longest, who tried the hardest to make things work. And yet somehow, they are the one who gets left behind. This feels confusing, because most people grow up believing something simple. If you are kind, if you are loyal, if you treat people well, you will be valued. But human psychology doesn't always work that way. In fact, in many situations, being too nice quietly lowers your value in other people's perception. So what actually causes this? To understand why this happens, you have to look at how human psychology really works. One of the first patterns people rarely notice is how availability changes perception. When someone knows you will always respond, always show up, always adjust your plans, your presence slowly stops feeling rare. Not because you did something wrong, but because the human brain naturally values scarcity. What feels limited feels valuable. But when something becomes unlimited, the mind begins to treat it as ordinary. And over time, ordinary things stop being appreciated. Kindness itself is attractive, but kindness without limits sends a different signal. If someone never disagrees, never pushes back, never says no, people slowly begin to assume they can take more and more. Not necessarily because they want to hurt you, but because boundaries communicate self-respect. And without boundaries, kindness can quietly start to look like submission. Another uncomfortable truth about human behavior is that people instinctively respect emotional strength. Someone who can calmly disagree, someone who can walk away when necessary, creates a different psychological dynamic. Independence signals confidence, and confidence commands attention. But when someone constantly avoids conflict just to remain nice, the dynamic shifts. Instead of admiration, people begin feeling comfortable pushing further. There is a psychological effect called habituation. It means when we experience something repeatedly, the emotional reaction slowly fades. The same thing happens with people. If someone constantly gives attention, constant validation, constant patience, those gestures slowly lose their emotional weight. Not because they are meaningless, but because they are always available. And the human brain quickly adapts to what it receives too easily. Human attraction is not purely logical. People are often drawn to challenge and emotional tension. Someone who occasionally disagrees, someone who holds their ground, creates stronger emotional reactions. But someone who is endlessly accommodating removes that tension. Everything becomes easy. And sometimes, easy becomes forgettable. Many kind people believe that giving more will create stronger loyalty, more patience, more understanding, more forgiveness. But overinvestment often creates imbalance. When one person gives far more than the other, the relationship slowly loses equilibrium. And imbalance often leads to reduced respect. Ironically, the more someone tries to prove their value by giving everything, the less valuable they may start to appear. At the center of every lasting relationship is respect. Without respect, affection slowly fades. People may remain polite, they may stay present, but the deeper emotional investment disappears. And when respect disappears, replacement becomes easy. The real lesson here is not that kindness is a mistake. Kindness is one of the most valuable human traits. But kindness without self-respect eventually becomes invisible. The people who are valued the most are not the ones who give everything. They are the ones who understand their own worth. Because when people sense that you respect yourself, they are far more likely to respect you too. If you want more psychology that explains human behavior without sugarcoating it, you'll find it here.